Hi there, I'm Grace Renner and I'm here with my husband.
Tunde Rena.
And together we're inviting you for the 6th edition of
Singles Hangout.
themed
Heaven's Match.
So he'll take it up from here.
Okay, guys, it's going to be an interesting season. Interesting for me, particularly because, should I use the word beneficiary? I'm a beneficiary of a match made in heaven. She is proof of that. I, I, so I am inviting you guys, singles, single ladies, single men, not just men that are of age, but men and women that are made up their minds that they want to be settled for good. They want to be married because it's a waste of time when you say because you're of age, then you think it's time for you to marry. No, it's a journey you have to settle in your minds and say it is time. So it's not about mature men or women, it's about a ready mind to be married. So for me, as an example, I I have always wanted to be married, but there's been back and forth regarding my journey to being a married man, to finding this awesome, delightful woman. I I have tried several times on my own to get married, but all to no avail. Several times I've had to go out on a limb on my own looking for a wife, and I get my fingers burnt. I try, we go out on a couple of dates, and I notice that over time, emotions are wasted, time is wasted, money is wasted, and I'm not there. So I told myself, you know what? Shut down this process and ask God. Is the matchmaker, perfect matchmaker. Actually, there's even a book by Derek Prince called God the Matchmaker. Small book, very little book, a book you can finish sitting down in 3 hours. I read that book over and over, and I've gifted that book out to a couple of young women out there and men to read. You should read it. I read it, and it inspired me, encouraged me. So eventually, when it was time for God to do his magic, you know how he does his thing. And I was at home, went for the service. I had prayed for God to show me my wife, to give me a wife, that I was fed up doing it my own way. And it was time for church. I went to church, and but I remembered something during my prayer. I told God, I said, I don't care at this point whatever woman you give me to marry, green, yellow, short, black, whatever. I don't care. So long as it's from you, I know that your thoughts for me are awesome. They are perfect. They are beautiful. They are for my good. So I don't care, because all this while I'd had some image in my head: slim, tall, light skin, whatever. Now, when I said that prayer, my heart, I had peace. At that point, I didn't care. I looked at every woman same way, so long as it was from God. So, day of church came. One of the pastors called out for an offering in church and said, 16,000 naira offering for whatever you are believing God for. I took out cash, went to the altar, placed the 16,000 naira. As I was walking back, it struck me. You said you're looking for a wife, you have prayed. Then show some faith. So I took another 16,000 naira, went back to the altar and placed it on the altar and said, God, this is seed for my wife. And I came back and sat down. I said I must marry that wife during that program, or see that wife. But the way we want it is not the way God plans it. All through the event, I'll see a woman pass in front of me. I'll say, is this the woman? Is this my wife? Event finished, there was no wife. A couple of weeks after, or so, a couple of days after the event, it was some marathon event they were having in Lagos State. So Lagos State was shut down, and I was at home. I remember having an engagement ring for the woman that I'd wanted to propose to. It's been in the house for a long time in my wardrobe. And this young man in church, God bless his soul, he calls me up, he sends me a message and says, bros, I have a car to sell. I said, how much is the car? We don't normally talk. I met him once or twice in church. And I said, how much is the car? He told me. I said, well, I'm not interested. I said, but by the way, you sell things. Good. I have an engagement ring that I want to sell. Sell it for me. He said, bros, engagement ring, you're not married. I said, no, I'm not married. He said, I should send it. So I sent the picture. I took a picture and I sent to him. He looked at it and he came back. He said, bros, you know what? All this while in church, I've been admiring you. I like you. But I don't have a sister. If I had a sister, I would have said, come marry my sister. However, there's a lady in my department. She's this, she's that, she's wonderful, she's this, I asked him, I said, how old is she? He told me her age. I said, I'm not interested. He said, bros, just talk to her. Hear her out. I mean, nothing, just talk. I said, I am not interested. Because from experience, when they are younger, when push comes to shove, they can't stand their ground, most of them, and say, you know what, my parents, this is who I want.
Yeah.
He said, bros, just talk to her. Before we signed off on that conversation, he said one thing. He said, bros, what you're looking for in Sokoto is right here. It hit me. But I said, sell my ring. He sent me her number. While he was chatting with me, he had called her up. She was doing an exercise. I guess she was doing an exercise. She was praying in tongues. She said she wanted to pray for 6 hours because during that same event that I went for, a pastor had said, Trina Hankins had said, if you want to hear expressly from God, pray in tongues for 6 hours. Anything that you are, it will give you an answer to something, whatever it is. And she said that day she decided to do that challenge, 6 hours. Just about the time her alarm was ringing for 6 hours, this same guy that I was chatting with called her. She picked up the phone and he asked her, are you in a relationship? She was surprised. This man, is he coming on to me or what? Anyway, she said no. So he was chatting back and forth. He was chatting with me and he was talking to her on the phone. Eventually, she said, what does he look like or whatever. He sent my picture to her. She said, he's too old though. He told her, calm down, meet him first. And I took her number, called her, we spoke. And I told her, look, what are you doing in the evening? She said, nothing. She had to go see a property or whatever, that she'll be back. Anyway, long story short, I went to see her in the evening, went for my friend's birthday, came back. 3 months after.
No, it wasn't 3 months.
It wasn't 3 months.
The following month,
I proposed.
It was not even up to a month.
It wasn't up to a month.
Well, about a month, yeah.
About a month, about 20-something days after I met her that day, I proposed to her. And how many months after?
Let's say a year after.
A year after we're married.
Yes.
We're married for 8 years now. We have 3 children and we are still going on strong. It's been beautiful, wonderful. So, like I said, don't discount or discountenance the process of meeting people, true people. Do you understand? God can orchestrate in whichever way he chooses and he wills. So I hope to see you at Singles Hangout 6.
Yes. Okay, so interesting, yeah, that you said you told the full story. I mean, I've been meaning to tell the full story. You said you paid 16,000 at a particular session during the program we're at.
Yes.
Now, that same particular session, I remember that the pastor said, if you're a single lady and believing God for a husband, go and read the book of Ruth. And then that was same encounter. You did the faith giving. I went back to read by faith. The same pastor, same service. And when I was reading and I saw that Boaz referred to Ruth as his daughter. I got confused because I've been reading the book of Ruth and I never saw that. I'm like, okay, what is God trying to say to me here? And that was what made me to start praying in tongues. I remember that Pastor Shina Harkins said, speak in tongues for 6 hours if you need clarity. And interestingly, as he said, as I was ending that prayer session, that was when a friend of ours called me and orchestrated the matchmaking between my husband and I. So yes, together we're saying that we're both beneficiaries of matchmaking, and we're
Exactly.
inviting you to attend the 6th edition
Of Singles
of Singles
Hangouts.
Hangouts. So thank you very much. We'll see you.
Look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, on the 28th of June, 2025.